this was like, okay, this is next level. That was the moment that I was like, okay, maybe this is something serious.
Rock, metal, prog, and everything in between. Welcome to this episode of Talkin' Rock with Meltdown. Don't forget to follow the audio-only Talkin' Rock podcast on all podcast platforms. And now, it's time for today's conversation. Here's Meltdown.
Hey, Lee, good to see you again. How are you?
Howdy. I am great. How about you?
Good. We're going to get to the band and all this other stuff coming up. You guys have had some awesome shows lately. The record's going to be dropping soon, coming up in under a month now. But
Yes.
first, we got to talk about what happened last week at Eloise on the day off, because as I sit here right now, I can't explain it to myself, and I can't explain it to anybody else. But just to give people, I'll link this in the story, but just to give people a little idea of what happened, we went on a haunted ghost tour at a local insane asylum that's supposed to be very haunted here in Michigan. And I was standing next to you in a room with about 20 other people, and we heard screams coming from somewhere else in the building. And right away, we called. I actually texted my friends in the other group. I'm like, did you guys hear that? And they're like, no, what? So what do you think?
I don't know. That was kind of crazy. So that was towards the end too. So because that was one of those things. We were like, we went to the bathtub, we did all that kind of stuff, which that was funny and that was like a lot of fun. But this was like, okay, this is next level. This was like, all right, like we are in it now, and hearing that scream after like hitting those tools together and everything, and then us, like even the lady like radioed the other group and she was like, no. And I think all of us were kind of like, all right, that was a lot. That was the moment that I was like, okay, maybe this is maybe this is something serious.
Yeah, that was crazy. Have you ever had an experience like that before? Because I never have. I've been around people. I think I told you guys in Gettysburg, there was a kid on our tour that said somebody was touching his shoulders and different things like that. But have you ever had an experience like that?
Not really. I don't put myself into positions of being haunted,
Right.
Anything creepy in real life, I kind of stay away from. So, I like the fake horror stuff, like when you go into a haunted house at,
Right.
like Universal Studios or something, for Halloween Horror Nights. I love that. And I'll do that every day. But the real like haunted stuff, and that's not for me. I think it's a little too real.
Well, it's funny because I'm the opposite. I do not like going into haunted houses. I like to be able to see where I'm walking. I don't want to be touched, the whole thing. But I was standing next to you and I grabbed you because I thought my feeling in my head was the other group saw something or heard something or whatever the case was. And then we radio and message the other group and they're like, nope, we didn't hear anything. Don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's when it got a little too serious, and I was like, all right, this is a little weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, see, that's why I don't do those. So to me, I'd rather do the ones that I know are fake, right? And I'm like, okay, well, this is not real. No one's gonna actually hurt me, right? Where like this was like, this could actually be real, right? Like that, and like we're on tour. I don't want to be like haunted for the rest of the, it's a lot. It's a lot of baggage.
Yeah, no question about it. So, well, I'll tell you what, I'll link that story because I did post it and I posted there was a girl next to us. I don't know if you know her or not, but she was
Yes, Emily. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Emily. She was taking video, and it's like this 25-second video, and about 16, 17 seconds in, you hear this scream in the background behind as someone's talking. You hear this scream noise. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, it was like a screech. It was literally like a screech, but it wasn't like, it was weird. It wasn't like a regular, because like the thing is there was like two people missing out of our group, right? But both of them were like our band members.
Yeah.
So like to me, there's no way that it could have been those two dudes because that was not their scream. I've heard even them making jokes and fun, right? They were just in the bathroom, and that was the complete opposite way too, because that was like the crazy part. Is that it was somewhere that wasn't even near any of the groups, so all of us were like, all right, something a little freaky's happening.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we'll let people decide for themselves, because if I found out it was your band members, because of course, what's his name? Homer got me as I'm talking.
Yep.
By the way, I had my ear fixed, and so now I can hear out of my ear again. But I was looking at you like this, and all of a sudden he came from the other side as we're walking down a dark hallway.
Bro,
Got me.
he got us so good. got us so good. That was so funny. Yeah, because that was the thing is I know it wasn't Homer or Cody because both of them were in the bathroom, which was like that way. If you remember down that hall was the bathroom, and that noise came from the left side. So
Well, yeah, it was really bizarre, but and they would have told you by now, right?
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because I didn't want to make up this fake story if there was just them just screwing around.
No, there's no way. There's absolutely no way.
Yeah.
So
Well, anyways, you guys are out on tour, as you just mentioned. You're out with Five Finger Death Punch, Marilyn Manson. You played here in Detroit for the first time. You're playing these big stages, these big sheds. And last night in Nashville, you played your first arena. Is that right?
yes, Bridgestone Arena. That was kind of crazy. It's weird because like, yeah, playing like the amphitheaters and stuff are just as big, or even some of them, like the first one was a stadium, in Hershey, but like there's something about the indoor show that's kind of special. I think it's because like to me, some of the like the festivals, we play festivals and stuff, those are outdoors, right? So we could play to a lot of people outdoors. It's the special like dark indoors, the lighting, the whole experience. You're kind of all trapped in there together. I don't know, it was kind of part of that. Experiencing that for the first time was so even more magical.
Yeah. And there is a huge difference. Like I'm a summer concert fan. Like I love to be outdoors. I'm not a huge fan of going inside to watch bands during the summertime because here in Detroit we spend half our year inside, and I'll do it then.
That's
But
true. That is true.
so now where are you from? Because I was talking to some of the other guys, and they're from all over the place. Where are you from?
We are. So basically, so I'm from Atlanta. So the suburbs, because no one technically lives in Atlanta.
Okay.
It's one of those cities, it's a commuter city. So everyone lives in the suburbs, so around in the circle. And I live in a spot called Marietta, and I've lived there my whole life. So the band's technically based out of there. And then the rest of the guys, so Homer, our drummer, the one that scared you, so he's from a small town called Hoopeston, Illinois, and they have literally like 5,000 people that live there. Not joking. And he is one.
He
Just recently,
he seems like a
yes,
small town kid. Yeah.
exactly. So, and he lives but he relocated and moved to Atlanta with me. And then Rob, our bass player, he is originally from Rochester, New York, which that's where Cody, our guitar player, is from as well. And Rob relocated to Atlanta as well. Cody still lives in Rochester because he just has so much family up there. And it was one of those things that it just wasn't worth for him to move down. And he just travels, anytime that we have to do stuff, he just flies. It's just a quick flight, so it's not terrible. And then Caleb, our other guitar player, he lives in St. Louis. So again, he's not a fan of flying, so he just drives. So we just kind of all get together and just do our thing. And it's cool. It's been a lot of fun. It also helps us not get sick of each other because we don't see each other every day, right? We'll only see each other when it's time to do this, and I don't know. I think it's one of those things. I'd much rather have people that are dedicated to the craft and to the band and stuff than, they have to live in Atlanta.
Yeah. So how long has the band been together, and how did the name come about? I'm sure you've answered these questions before, but the funeral portrait, I mean, that just fits what you guys do, it seems like.
Yeah. So I wanted something a little spooky, right? I don't know. I wanted to make music that was like dark and spooky, but I also wanted the name to kind of represent part of what the band was about, and it was just one of those songs that just kind of fit the vibe of the song, or of the songs that we were making at the time. So I also liked the idea of if we ever wanted to just rename the band TFP.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of part of that, so it kind of just worked, so. And then the band's been around for basically 10 years, but I say that this version of the band is like 2019 was around the time that this version, where we started playing, we released our song Holy Water and stuff started kind of really picking up. We got signed in late 2019. That's when things started really clicking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. TFP, that's what a lot of your socials are.
Yes, exactly. Well, because most social media, you can't have a long name or someone has stolen it before us. So So
Yeah,
we just went with TFP_devotion. It's kind of part of the whole brand.
I got you. So the new record drops on September 13th, Friday the 13th, like we were talking about. And this record's interesting. First of all, I love the like the commercial you guys made. I think that's fantastic. It's like an old school like late night infomercial type thing. It's kind of
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
And so it talks about all the special guests and stuff you have. And I didn't realize you even had one here from Detroit. But tell everybody about the special guests that are going to appear on this on the upcoming record.
Yeah, so we have the ones that are out so far. So we have Bert from The Used on You're So Ugly When You Cry, which to me was a huge deal because I grew up loving The Used.
Yeah.
So when I got that text message from him being like, yo, I love the song, I want to be on it, I was like, wait, Bert from The Used is texting me? Like, what is this day? And then he literally just sent it over like the next day. It was incredible. It was a wild moment. And then Spencer from Ice Nine Kills is on Suffocate City. And that kind of happened because of we played Silver Screen Con, his like horror music convention last year. He heard the song then, and he was like, yo, that song that you guys ended the show with, can you send that to me? So I sent it to him. He really dug it. And we kind of just, it started bouncing ideas back and forth. And he was like, yeah, I want to be on it. So that worked easily. And then we have from Detroit, we have Eva from Eva Under Fire, and she's on a new version of our song Voodoo Doll, which is really cool because I wanted a few other female vocalists on the record because I love the idea of like the male female vocal duet kind of thing. And she was the only one that I was able to like fully lock in for at least this version. Maybe we'll do 2.0 down the line, and so she's on that. And then we have the singer from Ask Alexandria on it as well. And that's a whole thing where I kind of was a little nervous to ask that band to do the song because I was like, I don't know if they're going to say anything. And Lexi, our A&R, she was like, oh no. She was like, those are some of the nicest guys ever. Like, let me send them the songs. So she like sent him the song, and he was just like, I really dig it. He was like, I want to, because we actually wanted him to be on Holy Water, a new version of Holy Water. And he listened to it. He was like, I just don't know if my voice fully fits. He was like, what about Dark Thoughts? And I was like, sure. Because he was like, I've heard it on like the radio and stuff like that before too. And he was like, I like that song. And I was like, okay. And then he sent it over, and I was like, whoa, this like works. His voice is so unique and so cool. So I believe that's all we have for right now. But we'll see what happens with the deluxe edition. So
yeah, Danny's a good dude. Yeah, it's been a
yes, he is.
God, I saw him during some wild days.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't think he's drinking anymore, but anyways, yeah, that's pretty cool. So record drops on the 13th of September. Obviously, I mean, that's obviously a cool day, Friday the 13th, right?
Yes. So it's cool because there's technically 13 songs on the record too. So it was kind of one of those things that I think we fully locked in the track listing as part of the date to be centered around it. So it's weird that it's actually coming out because we've been also working on this record since 2019. So
no, that's great. So with this, is this obviously this has to be the biggest tour you guys have been on, right?
Oh, you have no idea. We're normally in 250 cap clubs. So
yeah. And so
it's been cool.
Yeah, the guys treating you well?
Oh yeah, no, dude, it's been incredible. Everybody's so friendly. They're so helpful. It's weird at this level. It's not a competition, right? I think that's a big thing is growing up and doing this for so long. It's been, these 250 cap clubs and all this kind of stuff. Like everyone's kind of like, or the mid-level touring, everyone's kind of in it. It's like they all get like I don't know if they get jealous or whatever. It's just like a competition where there's enough slices of the pie for everyone. That's how I treat it. But a lot of other bands don't. So they're mean, or they'll be like, well, you can't have this. You can't do that. You can't do this. We're at this level. All the crew, all the bands are just like, anything we can do to help. So now, it's really cool.
I didn't really talk to you about your, musical influences or whatnot, but I have to assume you were majorly influenced by Marilyn Manson, right?
Yes, no, it's kind of cool for us. I grew up like seeing Manson and seeing bands like My Chemical Romance and all that kind of stuff, like the more like quote hot topic core music, right? Mallcore, is super huge to me. So like being on tour with Manson is like a dream come true. Like, I mean, I think it's cool to see him every single night, especially now he's kind of in this like rock era, I'm calling it, because he like cut out the it's still theatrical, but it's theatrical because it just sounds theatrical, right? So it's not, the show isn't like crazy, crazy. He lets the songs talk, he lets the band talk, he lets the lighting talk, he lets him just be iconic. And that's what's really cool about it is it's a different Manson than I've ever seen. And I think it works so well with like a comeback because he just lets the power of the music talk.
So have you had a chance to talk to him yet?
I met him. Yes. It was wild, insane. It was after the New Jersey show, which was show 3. He walks into the catering room after catering was done. They were all packed up, ready to go because it's like a touring catering company that comes with us. And he walks in, he's got like a bunch of friends and fans and stuff that he's meeting. And I'm just sitting there talking with Lexi, our A&R. And he comes over and Lexi, I guess, knows him just in passing, etc. So they talk for literally a split second. And then he turns to me and I go to introduce myself. I go to shake his hand. And he's like, oh, he was basically like, I know who you are. He just was like, it was one of these moments of being like, oh my God, he knows who I am. Like, I'm not just the weird opener, like favor band on the tour package. You know what I mean? Like, it was really cool to like feel like I belong here, like we belong here. Which we've never had that feeling before. We've never had those moments of we belong here, So it's cool to see that happen for once. I don't know. I've been jamming this band down people's throats for like 10 years. So it's cool to have someone iconic like Manson or Five Finger or even Slaughter, like all those bands be like, you guys are holding your own out here and you are deserving of this spot opening this huge arena tour.
Yeah, speaking of opening, what is it like to take the stage to like, maybe a sparse crowd? You guys are on first, and then as you play, people start to come in and stuff. What is that like?
So it's weird because some of the shows they will they open up doors about an hour and a half beforehand. So before we play, which is a lot of time, like to think about. So and that gives a lot of people time to get in, get settled. And I think it's been weird because the first show in Hershey was insane. They were ready to party. I think everyone was super excited. It was packed. I think we played to almost the whole audience. I'm not even joking. It was wild. But then day 2, day 3, it was a little weird. People are, eating their chili dogs and grabbing their beer, But I think as time has gone by, word is kind of spread that, hey, you need to go in early to check out the funeral portrait, and we got added to the tour a little bit later. So a lot of people don't even know that we're on the tour because when they first bought their tickets, right when the tickets went on sale, we weren't on it, and they, I think they sent out an email updating everybody, but it's still one of those things that it's like, I get every night when I go meet people, they're like, oh, I didn't even know you guys were playing. I've heard you guys on the radio. I've heard stuff at K-City, like stuff like that. And it's one of those things that it's like, oh, it's working, and people are like, oh, I'm coming early just to see the funeral portrait, and then I'll go get my beer after them, or whatever. And it's like, it's cool to hear that people are taking notice and they're going out of their way to arrive early to see just us.
Well, I'll tell you this much. Here in Detroit, a Wednesday night, people are leaving work. So it's like they
Yes.
get to the venue, and it's like, it's not like a Friday or Saturday or even Sunday, but so it's like that might be a little bit the reason why maybe it was a little bit sparse at the beginning. I wasn't at your show, so I don't know how much there was because I told you I had my motorcycle night, but
yes. Yeah. No, it was kind of cool though. I think that was a great show, to be honest. Like, I think that's around the time that I felt like, oh, I kept getting that thing of like people being like, oh, I'm coming early to see you guys, and it's weird because I didn't really expect us to draw people, like I didn't expect people to like come just for us either, or like come for just us and Manson or us and Five Finger or whatever it is, like it's cool to have people be like, oh, I am purposely showing up early to watch your band. And that's a really unique experience for us. I don't know. It's different.
Well, and the case, I mean, the fact of the matter is you're out there trying to show yourself off to new people and try to gather and garner new fans as well.
Yep. Completely. Well, and that's what we're doing with this tour, right? Is like this tour is promotion. You know what I mean? Like this tour isn't really like like, yeah, I love that we get to sell merch and that we get to kind of do that stuff. But for me, I'm so hyped that I get to go out in between the sets and like meet people. Like we printed out like a bunch of these like miniature free posters and postcards and stuff, and we hand those out every night and go meet as many people as I can. It's part of the whole deal, and it's been working. It's been cool. I go check our socials after every show, and the amount of people that like have photos with me or the rest of the guys, it's just it's a cool experience.
But a lot of them don't have a haunted experience with you. So.
This is very true. You have a very unique experience. So I will say that, a very, very unique one.
And you with me. All right, listen, I'll tell you what, wrapping it up, Suffocate City, the record drops on the 13th of September. So encapsulate this album for someone that may be a fan of yours and may not be, and maybe just checking you guys out for the first time. What is this record all about?
I think for the first time ever, this is the funeral portrait, right? So if you've been a fan of the band for 10 years, which we do have some fans that still come and see us from back in the day, and this feels like home. This feels like what we've been trying to do the whole time. There's a little bit of everything on this record too, for everyone. We have songs that are very personable to me. There's songs that are very unique experiences with my problems with past relationships or past people that have been drug addicts, or there's even moments of just being lost, and that's something that I have a problem with all the time, is finding who I am and being me, right? It's always been a problem, because if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. That's like a huge thing, right? So like that is spoken over and over again with this record.
Well, September 13th, Suffocate City drops. Say hi to the rest of the boys, and once again, tell Homer, paybacks are a bitch.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited, dude. I can't wait for us to come back up there and you to just scare the crap out of him.
I don't know. I'll figure something out.
I love it, dude.
Hey, Lee, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Great talking.